Are you trying to compare the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra and getting totally lost in reviews talking about complex technical specifications and features like the processor and the nits and the megapixels and the Geekbench score? Well, it's not just you. Most of us feel this way, and not all of it actually matters when making the right choice. I'm Akshay Goenka, and today I'm going to help you cut through the clutter in an easy to understand way and explain the features that actually matter to you when making a decision. It's going to be the ultimate showdown between the king of Android, the Samsung S23 Ultra, and the emperor of Apple land, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. You might even call this the Lord of the Things. Make sure you watch till the end so you don't miss out on an important factor, and leave me a comment with questions down below and I'll be happy to reply. Let's go. First, the quick headline. These are Apple and Samsung's flagship top-of-the-line smartphones, coming at £1199 or dollars or 160,000 rupees for the entry-level iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the Samsung S23 Ultra, which starts at £1,249 or dollars or 1,05,000 rupees. So weirdly enough, the iPhone is actually cheaper if you're in the US or the UK or Europe, but more expensive if you're in India, and by a good bit. The main reason to get the iPhone 15 Pro Max is 5 things. Its brushed titanium body that has a rugged yet premium and classy feel, like a piece of jewelry. A super fast camera that doesn't let you miss a moment because it didn't open up in time. Incredible 4K video with movie-like cinematic mode. A genuine all-day battery life, and truly game-changing features like the widely accepted Apple Pay and the easy to understand and use iOS. On the other hand, the reason to buy the S23 Ultra is very different 5 things. Its insane 100x zoom on the camera, its incredible screen durability to scratches and breaks, more vivid and colorful screen and camera, the trusty fingerprint scanner that honestly works better than Face ID in my opinion, and finally an operating system that is way more flexible and way more customizable than iOS. That's it! Those are the real differentiating features, and everything else like the processor speed and the megapixels are great marketing pitches and ads, but don't actually make that much of a big difference to the average user like you or me. Now that we've got the summary out of the way, let me explain in detail each of these decision-making factors and why they really matter to you. First, let's talk about the looks and the durability. The iPhone 15 Pro Max maintains a similar look to the 14 Pro Max, but opts for lighter and stronger titanium on its sides. Titanium offers exceptional strength, lightweight qualities, and it also looks very premium as it's the same material that's often used in jewelry, and it has a soft, classy brushed look, just like the titanium on my Apple Watch Ultra. The only challenge seems to be the fingerprinting on the side of the material. In contrast, the S23 Ultra features a lightweight aluminum curved frame but comes with slightly sharp edges which can make it a bit uncomfortable to hold for extended periods over time, and the square design can kind of dig into your palm. Aluminum, whilst cost effective and versatile in design, may be less durable against impacts and droppages. The iPhone also trims down its screen bezels to the thinnest bezel that exists on any smartphone in the world, offering a sleeker look that means more visible screen real estate for your content, with the edges fading away and making it seem like one giant screen. The iPhone has something called ceramic shield on the front, which is very durable and doesn't break easily, but it does scratch easily, so it's a good idea to use a screen protector for added protection. On the flip side, while the S23 Ultra boasts Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on both the front and the back, ensuring top-tier durability across breakages and scratches. This is something to really keep in mind, especially if you drop your phone. The dynamic island or the notch on the iPhone 15 Pro Max can be a bit of a bother when you're watching stuff on your phone, but it otherwise kind of just fades away. For most everyday users, it doesn't bring a lot to the table. It feels more like a marketing trick than something genuinely useful, even though it has some neat features, functionality, and information available on there. On the other hand, the Samsung S23 Ultra keeps it simple with a punch hole camera design. It's clean, it's effective, it doesn't get in the way when you're watching your content. So at least I really prefer that. And finally, Apple has added an action button to the phone this year, which replaces the mute switch on the side and can now be customized to a variety of tasks like a timer, workout, camera, basically anything that you use the most. This is pretty useful, but not a massive game changer which would make you buy the iPhone instead of another phone. But if you do buy it, it's a nice bit of functionality. Now, let's talk more about the screen, where the iPhone goes big with a 6.7-inch screen, while the S23 Ultra just slightly edges it out with a 6.8-inch display, making it basically the same. When it comes to brightness, the iPhone takes the lead with a peak of 2000 nits, while the S23 Ultra offers an impressive 1750 nits as well. And what's cool is that both screens stay pretty clear and visible even when the sun's blazing down on them, and hence this is not a huge differentiating factor. They also share a fast 120Hz screen refresh rate, which is now the industry standard for premium smartphones, which means that everything from scrolling through your feed to playing action-packed games to watching videos looks super smooth. Now here's where they actually differ though. The iPhone delivers colors that look natural and vivid, whilst the S23 Ultra amps up the colors and the contrast for a more intense viewing experience, especially when you're watching HDR videos. Honestly, this just looks a whole lot better and more dynamic. Not to say that the iPhone is bad, but the S23 Ultra is just another level. If you watch a lot of videos on your phone, this will start to stand out, especially with this more vivid display and the smaller camera cutout. The whole experience in Samsung is just frankly better. By the way, fun fact, Samsung is actually the secret designer and producer behind Apple's amazing screens. So on the back of the iPhone, it should actually say almost made by Apple in California. Before we go to the thing that matters to you most, take a second to subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying the video, and leave me a comment below with any questions you have so far, and I'd be happy to answer. So getting to the thing that matters the most, the camera. The biggest mistake people make here is to just compare specs like megapixels. So let me explain to you how you should think about it. First, the facts. The iPhone boasts a 48 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera. On the contrast, Samsung features an impressive 200 megapixel main camera, a 10 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 10 megapixel telephoto. But let's talk about what all these numbers actually mean in practical use. The higher megapixel count on the Samsung does allow it to zoom in closer, up to 10 times actually, compared to the iPhone's 5x optical zoom. Hence, what sets the S23 Ultra apart is its 100x zoom capability. With this zoom, you can even capture distant, detailed photos of things like the moon, which can be further enhanced through post-processing. It's a pretty cool feature, and it's still a feature because there's a lot of processing involved, but the usefulness actually depends on how much you actually do long-distance photography. The iPhone 15 Pro Max, on the other hand, has a great zoom of 5x, which is fully optical, which means the lens actually moves, which is nowhere close to the Samsung's, but actually pretty okay in practical use for most shots you want to take, except maybe nature photography from a distance. So let's talk about how the cameras actually perform. For selfies, both phones come equipped with a 12 megapixel front camera, but Samsung selfies often stand out with the vibrant colors, the better details. In contrast, the iPhone leans towards a more natural look. This is a personal choice of how you like your photos. If you like more color saturated, poppy pictures, then the Samsung is for you. But if you like something which reproduces how things actually look, then it's the iPhone. And finally, let's talk about the video capabilities. While Samsung can record at an impressive 8K video at 30 frames per second, but the iPhone actually holds the crown in my opinion when it comes to shooting videos, and it's been the preferred choice for all content creators because of its exceptional video quality. The iPhone can actually record up to 4K resolution and excels in providing a more detailed look with natural colors, and does an even better job on zoom on video than the Samsung with its crazy camera. And finally, the coup de grace. It has this mode called the cinematic mode that changes focus as you shoot a video, and it looks absolutely insane, like you're shooting a Christopher Nolan movie right on your iPhone. And finally, for the one you use the most, portrait shots to take pictures of other people. Both phones actually have great portrait modes, but the main difference and game changer on the iPhone once again is that you can actually switch a shot to portrait mode after you've taken it, which is an insane feature. For any of you who've always taken one normal and then one portrait shot of your partner so that you can choose later, now you don't need to do that. You just need one shot and you can adjust it later. That really feels like magic. The last thing to know about the camera on the Samsung S23 Ultra is that it can be a little bit laggy. And this is a bigger deal than it sounds. Most times when you take your phone out quickly, you're trying to capture a moment, a baby walking, a friend crying with joy, a lion spotted on your safari, and the iPhone lets you get to that moment and take the picture much faster than the Samsung S23. For me, that alone is a big enough reason to buy the iPhone over the Samsung because it makes it so much more usable. Next, let's talk about the brain of these devices. the processor. The Samsung S23 Ultra boasts an impressive 4nm 8th Gen 2 processor, while the iPhone 50 Pro Max counters that with a cutting-edge 3nm A17 Pro chip, which is as powerful as the MacBook's M2 chip. What? Huh? What? Huh? Let's delete all of that technical jargon and ask the question, what do these processors mean for you as a user? Well, they're both very adept at handling everyday tasks, ensuring smooth performance even with the most complex of tasks. However, when it comes to real-world benefits, the iPhone 15 Pro Max takes the lead. The reason is that the A17 Pro chip excels in power efficiency. It grants you longer battery life with uninterrupted usage, and it delivers more battery life than the S23 Ultra with a smaller battery. Now, let's talk about the charging speeds and methods. Both phones skip including chargers in the box. Thanks for my new 1,000-pound phone, Apple. How am I supposed to charge the damn thing? The S23 supports a brisk 45-watt charging capacity, while the iPhone caps out at 27 watts. And what this means is that in just half an hour, the S23 charges up to 65%, surpassing the iPhone's 50%. In terms of security, iPhone of course relies on its trusty Face ID for unlocking, offering a convenient and secure method. And on the other hand, Samsung goes for the under-display fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner is not only fast but also offers a reliable way to unlock your phone. Honestly, even though the iPhone has been my primary smartphone for years, I really miss the Touch ID fingerprint scanner. Face ID works okay, but has so many limitations where it doesn't work, like when you're in bed or lying on your pillow. Sometimes if you're wearing a hat and new sunglasses, or you're in a meeting and you want to quietly check your phone without having to look at the damn thing. For me, the Samsung is the clear winner on this one. Fingerprint is the way to go. Both phones come with IP68 water and dust resistance, meaning they can handle being submerged in water. I mean, you can't take it diving or anything, but it's rated to up to 6 meters for the iPhone, while the S23 is safe up to 1.5 meters, so maybe a nice swim. Let's talk next about payments, because it's something we do every day, and using your phone to pay is becoming increasingly the way to go. Samsung has Samsung Pay, which is very easy to use, but the problem can sometimes be distribution, especially in developed countries like the UK and Europe and the US, where it doesn't work everywhere. Apple, on the other hand, has Apple Pay, but it's important to note that it doesn't work in all of the countries. It works in the US and in Europe and the UK, but not in some countries like India. But that said, where it does work, Apple Pay is the most widely accepted service. In the UK, for example, it literally works anywhere. And most retail websites are even integrated where you can make a purchase using one click with Apple Pay, which is insanely easy and so fast to do. So unless you live in India, Apple Pay is the clear winner for me. In terms of operating system, the iPhone treats you to iOS 17, while the S23 Ultra runs on Android 13 with a fantastic and super stable One UI. iOS is known for being very straightforward and easy to use, and works well with other Apple products in the ecosystem like a Mac and an iPad and an iPhone and a watch, but it can be a bit rigid and non-customizable. You can't change things up too much. On the other hand, Samsung's One UI, which runs on Android, gives you a lot of ways to make your phone look and work exactly how you want it to. So do you want a phone that's simple and works great with other Apple stuff, or one that you can tweak and customize a lot? It's your call. The OS is actually such a nuanced topic that it needs an entire separate video on that itself. Hit like and shout out to me in the comments if you'd like me to make a video comparing iOS and Samsung's One UI. So which do you prefer? What features were most important in your decisions? Drop me a thought in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you want more awesome videos like this. See you on the next one.